his left, Jess on his right. Hey, hold up, don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Waking Jake in the morning, Waking Jake at night. Jake sucks.
Good morning, Bakers. What is going on, everybody? Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Brian, Juice, Fail, Matt Stevens, Tom, Dan, Dave, Evan, Luke, everyone live in the chat right now. Thank you guys and gals for spending part of your Monday morning with me. Let's get it. It was a big sports weekend, per usual on these Monday shows, at least maybe the last Monday show that's like this. We circle up on the baseball. The World Series is set, if you didn't know, so that's pretty big for some people. The Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros. We'll talk a little bit of foosball, NFL Week 7, a little bit of an ugly week. Little bit. We previewed that for you guys. College football had some stuff. Was there other sports? Was there anything out of the normal sports world?
Basketball's just starting.
Basketball is back.
There's an element of, on a national level, you don't need to know anything till Christmas, but
definitely had the seasons change. The weather changes. But I think as a sports fan, a lot of the diehard sports fans in here know that there's just a moment when you realize when you want to watch a game that it's going to now be a basketball game. And that was over the weekend for me. Like, oh, if you just turned on ESPN or TNT or TBS,
they're not talking about that
the rest of the way. Like, that's going to be an NBA game. Maybe we'll get excited for college basketball at some point. But for now, we'll talk about the World Series and the final piece of the puzzle that was missing. Houston advanced over the Red Sox. They won that game 5-0. Luis Garcia dropped it after Framber dropped it.
And after he struggled twice in a row?
Yeah. Framber and Luis Garcia, basically.
Every pitcher.
It's got some rumor mill going on the Astros. We won't feed too much into that. But the Braves, they had to seal the deal against the Dodgers. And not a lot of people assumed it was going to happen. I guess it's kind of one of those things like, the Braves go up 3-1 and a team in any series that's up 3-1, you believe that team is going to win the series. That's, if you're a betting person, you're going to go with the team that's up 3-1 most of the time. So now it gets tricky when it's the same teams from last year that went through this. And the Dodgers, let's be honest, without Ronald Acuna Jr., the Dodgers were the more talented team. But the Braves, man, they go back to Atlanta, 3-2 series, hearing all of it from the media and all that stuff. We talked to Peter Moylan, talking baseball. Man, they kind of had to win the Game 6. And the atmosphere for that game was awesome. I tweeted it, or I didn't tweet it out. I put it in the Boone. I did tweet it out, and I put it for the burn for Trevor Plouffe for those that watched Talking Baseball yesterday. And we're doing Talking Baseball World Series preview tomorrow, FYI, scheduling. This was really good baseball because I've said it on here before, and the best example I have is whenever the Williams sisters used to play, Serena and Venus, and I've said this on here before, whenever they met in a championship final, it wasn't either of their best. because it was high pressure. Their siblings, like there's a lot going on there that gets in the way of those two playing their best tennis match against each other. It's really tough. Game 7s, you often find that there's also a lot of pressure. So you see a lot of guys, a lot of guys rise to the moment. A lot of guys have a tough time because you're either trying to do too much or whatever it is. This Game 6 had Game 7 energy. The crowd was awesome in Atlanta. The crowd outside the stadium was awesome in Atlanta. And everyone on the field felt like they were playing their best brand of baseball. Like, the moment wasn't getting to anyone because the Dodgers, back up against the wall, but they're still the big bad wolf. Like,
for the most part, that group's been there, done that.
It's a weird combination of confidence because they've been there, done that. They think they're the more talented team, and it's almost playing with house money. When you go down 3-1 in a series, it's kind of like
you're at that point,
like, hey, let's just go for it
already here
and see where we land. If we put ourselves in a position to be special. Meanwhile, the Braves, tomorrow was promised to them. So, they needed and wanted to win this game, and they did. Fortitude. But it was a high level of baseball. A high level of baseball that peaked with Eddie Rosario and his 3-run homer. Awesome. The crowd reaction and everything to that. Yeah, man, I mean, there wasn't a lot of people, in a 4-2 game where 3 of those 4 runs were scored on one swing. It was just competitive throughout. There was good at-bats, strong performances. Matzik, as impressive as a reliever can be on the baseball field. And same for the Dodgers bullpen. Brewstar was nasty. Vesia's the only one that didn't have it. The 3 walks, and that almost, Dave Roberts was asked if he should have gone to Vesia for Eddie Rosario, because that's kind of his lefty guy. And then when Vesia has a bad day later in the game, it's kind of like, well, I don't know.
Even need to ask.
I don't know. I guess in hindsight, if you're the Dodgers and you see that Trinan only pitched 4 pitches, if this is your last game and you know how the game path would have played out, you might have deployed your pen a little differently. And that's so easy. I mean, Walker Buehler was pretty nasty on short rests. And, dude, if Eddie Rosario didn't swing at that last pitch, we would have said it was nasty. It was a cutter on the corner of the plate. The problem is he threw 2 in the same spot. Eddie was ready for it. Eddie likes to swing. He's swinging a hot bat, and that kind of ended it. So, good for the Braves, man. Freddie Freeman's reaction's pretty cool. Freddie's everything that's good and everything that's a little about baseball, like the high pants, and it's not super sexy all the time, but that reaction's so pure, and it's who Freddie Freeman is. That was cool. Dansby with the nice play to end it. So the Braves are going to the World Series. I know we're excited about the World Series, and it's kind of the Braves are now America's team against the Houston Astros. Man, the Dodgers side of this is pretty wild, and I haven't seen a lot of people have the conversation yet, but, they traded big-time prospects for Scherzer and Trey Turner.
Yeah.
Big-time prospects.
Trey's locked in for next year.
Trey will be back, and I think, is that his last year?
Then he hits free
Not
agency.
that they won't necessarily resign him. I think,
I think you make that trade with the plan.
Hoping to. And Scherzer could be back
switch.
too next year. But, that's a whole nother thing.
I mean, you never know how free agency's going to go.
Right.
Vibes-wise, I'd be really surprised if he's not
All
back
the rumors
now.
around it seem very much like
he picked the spot.
Yeah.
And then not that it's on him, but I'm sure he feels a level of responsibility. Like I had to be scratched from Game 6.
Yeah.
I kind of owe it to them
for who he
get,
is,
a real playoff.
Because they were saying on the broadcast he was going to go 7.
Yeah.
Which is one of those kind
I'm
of.
sure Scherzer's a freak. He's thinking that way.
Yeah.
He shouldn't feel guilty or anything.
Yeah.
But
So, yeah, I mean, that's, Corey Seager's hitting free agency. They traded for Turner, who's seemingly the guy that replaces him. Chris Taylor could be gone next year. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be – the Dodgers are going to be uber talented next year. It'll be crazy to see what the Giants are next year. It's going to be crazy to see what the Padres are next year. But, man, this Dodgers team, like, I know Plaschke was getting super dragged and kind of fine. Bad tweet. Have some fun with it. Peter Moylan sure was.
I think everybody's playing it right.
Yeah. I said it a ton. This Dodgers team, man, they're going to look back on paper and be like, how the hell did they not win? And, hey, I think a big part of it, Max Muncy, Justin Turner, those guys are dudes. Yeah. Muncy being out for the whole playoffs, like, really hurt them.
A lot of ripples.
Really hurt them. We'll have all offseason to talk about them. The Atlanta Braves are going to the World Series. And I think it's funny that here we are, Braves Houston. Everyone's calling the Braves America's team because of Houston and the cheating scandal, blah, blah, blah. The Braves... And this is kind of heavy, deep cut baseball, and I don't want people to get too lost in it. The Braves are also an interesting case. I mean, they're one of the most talented organizations in baseball. Trevor Plouffe, kudos to our guy, had them in the World Series to start the year, and that wasn't a crazy pick. Like, the Atlanta Braves are super talented. The quote that I always reference on Talking Baseball was, I think it was either Passan or it was Buster Olney. They said, if the next... I think in the next 8 years, if the Braves don't have multiple championships, it would be a failure. Like, that's how talented the Braves organization is. We know the guys on top. We know Freddie Freeman. We know Ronald Acuna Jr., who's not there. Ozzie Albies. Now what Austin Riley has become. He was a part of that formula. Marcell Ozuna before the season was a part of that formula. Max Fried, Ian Anderson, Mike Soroka, Charlie Morton, Yanoa. They have the thing is they have other guys on the way. Pache, Drew Waders, Langeliers. Like, their farm was packed. The Braves were already winning division titles, and they had a farm system.
Farm system they can still cash in on.
Like when we kept hearing about the Padres are going to be good because they have a stacked farm system, the Braves had that while already having a good team. So the Braves are really built for it. The thing that sucks and is a little scary, and I know people don't want to hear this because they just want to hear down with the cheating Astros. Man, if the Braves win it without Acuna Jr., that's going to suck. Because he is legitimately a top 5 player in the game.
Yeah, certainly if we're going just position
If you're
players,
doing just position players, just to make
in
it
that
easier.
Group of the most talented guys.
Like top 10, there's kind
and the
of...
results back it up.
Top 10, there's like no argument.
Didn't he still lead them in WAR this year, and he went out and... They were a good team, and he went out in the middle of the year?
Yeah, I mean, he was...
halfway through.
Yeah, he played 82 games this year. Let's see. Austin Riley had a better offensive WAR than him. He was number 2.
Yeah. It's a counting stat.
He was number 2. Yeah. So, front offices, and we very much know that people think this way, that in front offices, they think make the playoffs and hope for the best. That's whether you're...
From there, baseball happens and whatever.
That's whether you're, the St. Louis Cardinals from this year. That's whether you're the Red Sox from this year, the Braves, or the mighty Dodgers. White Sox. Think of all the different teams that make the playoffs this year and how they got there. This is an interesting case because... So what do we like from the Braves? They have some good traditional starting pitching. Max Fried, Ian Anderson, Charlie Morton. Baseball needs to find a way to get back to that. We're trying to figure that out. And Mike Soroka is one of the best young pitchers in baseball, and he's out this year.
Yeah.
Which, for starting pitching, that makes a little more sense. You're going to lose pitching every year.
Pretty much every year,
part of the
some
formula.
guy you were counting on that you're going to lose. But
That's part of the formula. And I get it. Like, baseball in small sample size, there is a crapshoot effect to it, but we want to encourage teams to get the best talent. You know, we'll use the Brewers, for example. The Brewers have some good young pitching. They have Yelich. They've got a young core of guys.
Mm.
The Brewers are pretty confident that they're going to make the playoffs next year. So we should want the Brewers to go out and make a big splash in free agency. We should want them to pair up a big righty bat with Yelly so that when we talk about the Brewers, we're like, watch out.
Go get like 2 more middle-of-the-order bats, and you're scary.
What the Brewers are more likely to do is do 3 to 4 smaller moves that
try to get like 5 guys.
Boost their team.
Yeah.
And then they'll get into the playoff dance and hope it goes a little better. Because, I mean, think about it. You know, if you're the Brewers, you're saying if we won more game against these Braves, we were going back home Game 5, Corbin Burns in Milwaukee. Could we be talking about a Brewers title? If you ran the simulation 100 times, you know, the Brewers probably could have got to the World Series 5, 10 of them, somewhere in there. They're a good team.
At least.
So, I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. There's not a right or wrong answer, and I don't want to dissuade anyone from rooting for the Braves, obviously. But, and the things we do like, I mentioned the traditional starting pitcher. They went out and they made moves. Eddie Rosario, Adam Duvall, Jock Peterson, Jorge Soler. Those are guys that each have big seasons under their belt. I mean, big boy seasons. Jock's got a few really big seasons. Hell, Adam Duvall, man. Eddie Rosario is more steady and has just done it every year. Jorge Soler has like a 45 homer season in the bag.
Yeah, I think even more.
Something nuts, like close to 50. So these guys are talented pros, and it's going to be interesting to see. MLB
48 and 19.
48. MLB is kind of a copycat sport. It really is. So if this Braves team becomes the next example, interested to see how it plays out. And the Acuna Jr. thing, I know I'm kind of coming in hotter on that than most people, because I do think what we're seeing, and we'll see if this becomes more of the storyline. I don't know if this is the end of the Astros, but it seems like this is Correa's last year. From everything we've heard,
It feels like there's so many teams that are going to be in on it.
there's a lot of other teams that are going to be on the Correa. A lot of other teams that are going to be in on Correa with big money that it seems from Houston's negotiations they're not in. We'll see if that changes. It could. Like if Correa re-signs with Houston, I don't think anyone gasps. But we're definitely getting to a point with Houston that if Correa's not there, you're kind of looking around and it's what?
Like just Bregman,
Altuve,
as far as the guys who've been there for this whole
Yuli
era.
Gurriel, who's going to be 38 next year.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a different team. So it kind of feels like this could be the start of something special for the Braves, which I do think down the road will include Acuna Jr. And hopefully Mike Soroka and some of these guys. Kudos to the Braves. The Snitker stuff is as cool as it gets. 45 years in the Braves organization, some crazy like that. I typed out and deleted a tweet that I'll tell you guys, the Bakers. I said, if you're reading this tweet, that means Brian Snitker has worked for the Braves longer than you've been alive. And I want to put an asterisk. Don't read this, Chris Rose. That felt mean. I deleted it. And Chris Rose will be here. I think he lands late tonight, but he'll be here.
He'll be in New York City tonight.
He'll be in the office tomorrow and Wednesday streaming the games with us. That's a lot of fun. We'll be doing some bonus content with him always. And, man, it sets up for a fun series. It looks like, and BBD, I don't know if you've got any better sources on this. It looks like it's Framber Morton game 1. And then it says it's Luis Garcia, Max Fried game 2. So that's fun. It's going to be the first 2 games are in Houston. Framber coming off his awesome start. Luis Garcia coming off his awesome start. Charlie Morton gets some extra rest, which it looked like he kind of needed. And Max Fried will get a shot at kind of redemption after his he was having a good playoffs, and then, he had kind of a tough start in LA. It looked like he was rushing his stuff. Some of the internet videos were pretty good on that. I'm excited to see. The other storylines are obviously which bullpen holds up. The Braves, Matzik has been used literally every game.
Yeah, gets a couple days off here.
And he looked incredible. He looked as good as a reliever's looked. So that's something.
In theory, the Braves now will be able to at least get a little more as far as just innings out of their starting pitching with no lack of DH.
Yeah.
There are a couple times that they took guys teams are quick to pull the plug anyway.
Yeah,
so going from 3 to 4 innings.
But no,
it adds up,
and that's where some of the NL people get lost, because I tweeted out like, damn, I hate seeing Ian Anderson coming out of this game. Ian Anderson's a 23-year-old stud starting pitcher, like not a joke. Like just because you don't know his name like some of the other guys, he's pitching playoff games, big playoff games. He's been really good in them. He's been good in the regular season. He's nasty. And he comes out in the 4th inning, which I get it. The rally happened that basically won the Braves the game.
Once you're in that position, yes, that is the right call by the Braves.
NL people, here's the part that's cool. Adrianza could have been your DH, and then Ian Anderson could have come out and pitched the next inning. That would have been cool. So I'm not going to get into that. Yordan Alvarez is going nut job. Eddie Rosario's going nut job. We'll see who continues that. I saw some of the nerds that were like, they're talking about Eddie Rosario, how he's going to have a bad World Series, and it's like, yeah, he can, but let's not do it nerdy. Just because you're hot doesn't mean you're going to get cold. Like Eddie Rosario could also have a really good World Series.
You can stay hot one more week.
So that was kind of frustrating.
Been a good player for a while.
I don't know. I'm interested to see. I would guess, if I had to guess, this series starts off kind of not even a take, but the pitching continues to do its thing. Framber and Luis Garcia look good. I'd say Morton and Fried bring it. Bullpen's rested. And then in those middle 3 games in Atlanta, I think we get some loud baseball. Because it's currently listed Urquidy versus Ian Anderson, and then our guy Odo, and it has Jesse Chavez as the opener starter.
They're going to do a bullpen day.
So, I don't know. It's going to be fun. Obviously, people are going to end up rooting for the Braves. And we'll see what it looks like, man. I don't know. Houston is the favorites. Do we have the DraftKings number on that?
I can find them.
They do have home field. And, they were the better regular season team. I think they have more talent.
Yeah, they are better. So are the Dodgers, of course, based on what happens.
Right. Houston, pretty big favorites in game 1 with Framba. Let's see. Listed run lines, money line total, player props, playoff series props.
It's listed as World Series, not MLB.
I
was struggling with.
System. Astros minus 155, Braves plus 130. So I don't know. Interested to see. Hopefully it's a good brand of baseball. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but there's Houston people and Red Sox people that can mad at us whenever we want, but the end result of the Red Sox-Astros series wasn't a great one. There was one good game, and that ended in a 9-2 final. So Let's see how it plays out. If the Braves do win, man, get ready for the start of, like, they're going to be in the mix, man. They've got, like, money to play with, too. Like, and we did this the other day. The Braves are just an underrated franchise, man. I would tell Jolly Olive to do a thing on it, but he's actually pretty sad about the Braves because he's a Mets fan. That's his whole thing. Jolly Olive, like, didn't give me a smile this morning. He's like, yeah.
Like,
he's rooting for the World Series to be over. Big time. And I'm not there.
Yeah. And it's where we were for the ALCS.
Yeah. And honestly, so there's a lot of people in Houston that don't love us. Honestly, I think it's
a lot that do too.
There's a lot that like us. I know Q Hubner in the chat, our guy, and a lot of people that send tweets like, you can like the Astros, baseball, and John Boy. But you know, that's a whole conversation, and there's a lot of idiots out there as well. If Houston wins, like, Twitter and our timelines and stuff are gonna suck. But, like, it's also a pretty badass redemption story, led by Dusty Baker, one of the most likable guys in the game.
There's all the history stuff, and a bunch of that, like, core group still is the same, but there are a lot of likable things about the Astros team. I
like Jordan Alvarez. I think he's one of the best young players in baseball. I like Michael Brantley is kind of a cool...
He's been a dude for a
34
while.
years old, like a really good hitter. I can root for that guy.
Kyle Tucker's a young stud, too.
Yeah. I'm Alex Bregman's hype man. That's a good point by Eric in the chat. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to do, like, X Factors or anything like that. I mean, if I had to go today on it, I'd probably say Astros in 7, not confidently. That would be in Houston, Game 7 in Houston again after the Nats debacle from 2019. Howie Kendrick, that was cool, huh? That was really cool. I don't know. We'll be watching it together. Talking baseball tomorrow, World Series preview. We'll, deep dive, talk more of the matchups, things we like, things we want to see. I guess leave in the comments what you got. Who's going to win the series, MVP, all that stuff. Fun. Normal dog Braves in 27, like that. It's a risky take. But someone has to do it.
Excited to see Jorge Soler play full games again.
Yeah, and
he was like a dude for them down the stretch.
It's another
DS.
It's another part I like is that the Braves are a team that do have a DH kind of.
They've got a spot for it. They have 4 outfielders that deserve to play.
Yeah, that's the conversation has been they have one bench piece. Now, that bench piece will go DH.
Probably play the full game. Particularly with Framber starting, Soler's an easy get him a full DH day.
Yeah. And Adrianza, his numbers are okay. They really like him as a pinch hitter.
I think he's fast too, so he's a nice plug and play late. Plays everywhere.
A hitter. Chris Rose, John Boy, myself, BBD, live streaming tomorrow and Wednesday night. Talking baseball preview tomorrow. And then we're going to be in it. We'll see who does this. That's the baseball. BBD, let's jump over to the American football. Is there any other sports? I guess Formula One had their thing in Austin this weekend. Ian Happ was down there. Courage Dunlap. A lot of people are into that now.
Yeah, I had a couple friends that were down there, just people I know from high school and stuff.
It's a good combination.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Formula One's getting more niche and cooler. because of like the Netflix documentary or whatever it is, and more people are getting into it. And Austin being cool, like that's just a cool combo. That like you combine those two, yeah. We'll talk football because I don't have
nothing to say beyond that.
Yeah. Drive to Survive, Hugh Huebner. Attendance in Austin was 400,000 people. So, yeah, man, that's insane. That's so many people. Think about that. Like the biggest college football game you've ever seen is like 100,000. It's times 4. It's like too many people. Anyways, we'll run you through the football this weekend. Like we said, there's a lot of buys this week. A lot of good and fun teams were on buys. It started Thursday night with my Broncos. They lost 17-14 to the Browns. Ugly. Case Keenum for Cleveland. D'Ernest Johnson, big fantasy guy this week. With Chubb and Hunt out, he got all of the action. 22 carries, $146. This game finished 7-14. I have the screenshot. 400,000 was counting all weekends, says Matthew Sylvia. Okay, so I don't know. There's people around.
Still,
there's people there.
Was that 3 days of stuff
visiting? I don't know. Browns go to 4-3. Broncos go to 3-4, and this is I'm kind of mad that Teddy Bridgewater won me over. I got tricked. I told myself not to. I told myself not to believe. And here we are. We're 3-4. And it's just bleh. And it's like, I could watch a Broncos. Like I said, if this was Justin Fields and the Broncos were 2-5, like I'd be like, all right, let's see what he's got.
It's something to fully invest in.
Now I'm just chasing 500 with Bridgewater and the gang. They've lost 4 in a row. I mean, they play Washington at home next week. That's winnable. Cowboys, Eagles. Yeah, I mean, they're going to win 1 or 2, and then they're going to lose 2 or 3. And, like, they're
not one of the worst teams, not one of the best ones.
A lot of that. I have the receipts, as the kids like to say. My gambling friends were talking about this game, and I said you can pretty much pencil it in that Browns will win 16-13. They won 17-14, so I was all around it. Which brings us to the Sunday slate. Go Pack Go! The Green Bay Packers are 6-1. They lose on... Sports are so dumb, man. Sports are so dumb. The Packers and Aaron Rodgers this offseason, everyone's freaking out. Does he really want to be the Jeopardy host? Is he done? They lose week 1. Here they are, 6-1. They look like one of the class teams in football. 24-10 over the Washington football team. Nobody really cares, but the Packers are in it. Rodgers is in it again. He's different. And my Broncos will go out and try to get him this offseason. And they'll succeed and it'll be cool for 2 years, or they'll fail and they're back at square one. Titans rolled up on the Chiefs 27-3. I've been here a couple times now saying I'm not worried about the Chiefs. And I don't think you guys are worried about the Chiefs. I think people are worried about the Chiefs. They're 3-4. The Mahomes magic just doesn't seem there. He got beat up in this game. He got taken out of this game. Like, no points in the first half against the Tennessee Titans, who lost to the Jets this year.
This month.
I mean, I know that's the NFL, but holy crap, man.
That's as bad as it gets. And the Titans, they are a good team, but in full picture, but their defense has not been that kind of defense.
Just like something's up. Like something's up. We're, that Yankees story leaks out over the weekend about Cole and Gardy, which I do think we've got a Talking Yanks episode coming up this week, so get ready for that. But, we kind of thought the Yankees locker room this year was weird, and then you hear the Gardy Cole story. Gardy was trying to have fun with the pine tar situation. Cole blew up on him, took a day to settle down and apologize. Yeah, that felt like the Yankees locker. None of us were surprised by that story.
No.
You wonder if there's something going on with the Chiefs, or if it's just football's a tough sport and you go to the Super Bowl and your team's beat up
runs.
And you start paying other guys so you can't pay other guys, and I don't know. I mean, it's kind of shocking.
Talent, but
everyone here knows I'm a Rosillo guy. He had a really interesting open on his pod the other day that he was talking about people who are the best at their sport and how there's normally, you can normally go around the leagues and be like, bang, 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 bang. Basketball is kind of in a tough spot right now. It's like LeBron's old, KD was hurt.
Last year or so is the first time it's not been a clear-cut LeBron.
Giannis. People love Luka. Basketball's, all those conversations come from a different area. Baseball, it's been Trout, but now Ohtani's his teammate, and there's kind of a massive conversation there.
And the team's still not good even with him. But.
Trout's still all-time good when he's on the field. He's been hurt a little bit, and some of these young up-and-comers, there's a Soto conversation. There's things like that.
Judge and Stanton have both played more games than Trout in the last 4 years. Is that what the
So, I mean, if you say who's the best baseball player, the answer's Mike Trout. It's Shohei. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a conversation.
And it depends what your definition of best is.
It's a conversation. In football, it was easy. It was like Mahomes. He's kind of head and shoulders over everyone.
As far as just ability, yep.
Yeah, just it is a quarterback-driven league, and he was clearly the best.
Yeah. Obviously, Brady's been just doing it this whole time.
Right. But Brady's
Mahomes
team
doing what he's literally physically doing.
Yeah.
At the age he is, the best.
Brady's team is gross. It continues to get overlooked. I know he was out this week, but Antonio Brown is his third wide receiver and was the best wide receiver in the league a year or two
for
ago.
a while. He had a several year run of being the best guy.
And Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are also gross. Gronk and O.J. Howard, Leonard Fournette was a top.
It's the whole reason he left New England, because they weren't getting him gross skill position players around him.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's really interesting to think Mahomes was kind of the guy. He was kind of the 1-1 of dominant athletes at their sport, and now I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know if there's injuries. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's the talent got depleted. Everyone was pointing at the defense, but also the offense.
It's football. I'm sure guys are banged up, all that. But
I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out in Kansas City, and I think I'll say this on the other side of it. If you're someone that thinks you know and you're not a deep-cut Bill Barnwell football expert, I think you're lying. Should we call Bobby? We haven't called Bobby in a little bit. Just get his instant Chiefs take. Titans win 27-3. Good for them. Titans are back on track. A.J. Brown with a big game. They are 5-2. They're back in the conversation for being the class of the AFC, and a reminder, they lost to the Jets. That's the NFL. Falcons beat the Dolphins. They had a big lead. They kind of blew it. I'm mad at them. Just because the league I care about, I was playing Tua, and he had a huge fantasy day for no reason.
Yeah, he played his best game.
Yeah, 4-touchdown game for Tua. Good for him. Good for the Dolphins. They're 1-6. Falcons, by the way, are 3-3, and Matt Ryan has been playing better. Kyle Pitts had a monster day. Monster day. The rookie tight end.
As a tight end, 7 catches over 23 yards per catch.
He's a beast.
On that volume.
So I don't know. Are the Falcons, this is going to be a long 17 game season. Do they end up in a playoff spot somewhere? I haven't really done the turkey math on that yet.
At least on the offensive side, they're interesting enough that
it's like watchable.
The conversation.
Watchable. Calvin Ridley, Pitts. Dolphins, I don't know if they're watchable. 1-6. The Tua stuff's getting really interesting. BBD broke the rumors last episode. Nothing's broken there yet.
Yeah, it seems.
Seems like it's not.
The tweet this morning was they're gonna trade him by the deadline, which I think is this week, next week. And now the Panthers are get to them.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I saw yesterday.
That's another thing that nobody knows how it's going to play out because nobody knows what's up with Deshaun Watson. The NFL doesn't know. The Texans don't know. The teams trying to trade with the Texans don't know. So that's just its own mess right now. Good for the Falcons for kind of looking like they're salvaging their series. Let's get some Falcons schedules talk. This is what the people want. Panthers at home. We'll talk about BBD and Bobby's Panthers in a minute. At the Saints, at the Cowboys, home versus the Patriots, at the Jaguars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They could go 3-2 in that span, and we're talking about the 6-5 Falcons. I mean, Jaguars, Panthers, Pats, those are winnable games. So is the Saints, kind of. Cowboys a little tougher, but okay. Maybe we'll start drinking some Falcons Kool-Aid. How about that? Jets, Patriots. Here's a scoreboard for you. Those Jets I was just talking about. Patriots 54, Jets 13. I don't know, man. I mean, I think last show I talked about how the Patriots skill people kind of stink. I guess Damian Harris is good, can be good, young running back.
Player.
Snack Jones, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 24 for 36. Zach Wilson got hurt in this game. Mike White was slinging it around for the Jets.
Wilson's out 2-4.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 players had catches for the Patriots. That's like the Belichick dream. Of those 11, I think 1, 2, 3, 11 minus 8 of them had 2 or more catches. So, hey, they were clicking. I don't know if it's the Jets. I don't know if this Patriots team is getting better. Man, the Patriots had a couple close ones. They lost opening week to the Dolphins, which that's weird.
It's so much worse now.
There's a couple opening week ones that are tough in hindsight. That one's up there. Remember they lost that Bucs game on the field goal that just missed. They lost that crazy game to the Cowboys, the back and forth down the stretch. They could have won that game. I don't know. I know I drank some of the Patriots Kool-Aid before the season. They've got a tough one at Chargers, then their Panthers, Browns, Falcons. They're still in the mix. We'll see if Mac Jones continues to get better. He's had a couple nice outings. He's had a couple meh.
If they can win that Chargers game and that Panthers game, they then, it's kind of a tough stretch at Falcons who might be good. I mean, any of those next 3 teams might be good.
Yeah,
Titans just rolled up on the Chiefs, at Bills, at Colts.
I know they're the Jets, but the 54 spot, we'll see if that means anything. We'll find out very quickly if that meant something or meant nothing. I wouldn't take too much stock in it. We'll keep an eye on the Mac Jones, Bill Belichick. BBD, your G-men beat your Panthers. Giants win 25-3. They get a safety. Daniel Jones has the catch.
That was cool.
That's fun. The Giants were without Shepard, Galladay, Saquon. Who else am I missing?
Tony, the first round.
Kadarius Toney.
Once those guys went out and they started using him, he's been gross.
Yeah.
They lose him last week.
It's Daniel Jones, Devontae Booker, former Broncos legend. Elijah Penny gets 9 carries. Evan Ingram, Dante Pettis, who is getting some love because his pops is the third base coach for the Astros.
I think he was. He hasn't been the third base coach
Right,
the last
right.
Like 2 years.
Right. The COVID stuff. Yeah.
COVID stuff. He has, I forget what kind of cancer, but I think he's in remission and all that. He's been with the Astros this year, but not as the third base coach. I don't know.
So, hey, good for the G-men. They win a game. They're 2-5. Happy for talking Giants. They deserve to win. BBD and Bobby's Panthers that they both took a flyer on. Man, oh man, they had that Eagles game, kind of won at home, and then they blew it at the end. That would have made them 4-1.
Coming back last week, they had to come back. That then they lose in overtime.
Vikings.
That's a game they'd like back.
So yeah, I mean this Panthers team, they kind of have a big game with the Falcons next week. That's kind of whoever wins.
Whichever of these teams wins feels like they can be interesting down the stretch.
Whoever loses that game, your season's kind of shot in the foot. You really got to turn it around. But yeah, I mean the Panthers got to be kicking themselves a little bit because they couple games there they blew. Not this one though. The Giants kind of won this one, 25-3. Good for their defense.
Yeah, the best game the defense has played.
Man,
give it 3 points. That's a good sign.
Good for the defense. Good for Daniel Jones. Good for Joe Judge. We could very easily, if the Giants lost this game to 25-3, I don't think anyone would have been shocked.
Yeah.
So
Panthers, if they can be 500 when McCaffrey's back in 2 more weeks, I think is when
that's where they're at. That's where they're at. They're just waiting for McCaffrey and hoping they're still in it. And like you said, they're hoping to be in the QB mix. However, this Watson stuff goes down, we'll see. Sam Darnold got benched in this game. P.J. Walker comes out for a 3 for 14.
Yep. So I think Darnold will be back next week.
Yeah. Hey, good for the Giants. Go check out Talking Giants.
They love their victory episodes.
Yeah, few and far between. Kind of the big story from this NFL Week 7. The Cincinnati Bengals roll in to Baltimore, and they beat the Ravens 41-17, a dominant win. Joe Burrow, 400 yards. Jamar Chase, 200 yards receiving, 41-17 in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson got sacked 5 times. I think that was the most he's ever been sacked. Man, the Bengals are starting to prove they're pretty real. I think they're still... We kind of talked about them. They were kind of the party trick Bengals. They're fun. They got some offense. They got some weapons. They have now, the Bengals have entered the chat. It's real. Good for them, man. Joe Burrow, if there's a conversation to buy a lot of Joe Burrow stock, especially now with what's happening at LSU. You know, I think LSU got rolled on again this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Orgeron's out. I mean, it's kind of funny, and it's the whole Brady Belichick thing where people want to see who they can give credit to or who they can take credit away from. Burrow, man, right now, he's got a pretty cool conversation about LSU. He's got a pretty cool conversation about the Cincinnati Bengals. Good for Joe Burrow, man. And Jamar Chase is doing insane things. The Cincinnati Bengals are real. They are now conversation worthy, especially with the Chiefs hurting. Let me get some NFL standings real quick. The Bucs and the Bills are probably the two.
That'd be the favorites.
Those are probably
right
your
now.
top 2 teams. There's a conversation for the Titans.
Yeah, and the Packers have played well to be in that mix. But
The
if we're
Packers
talking
probably deserve it with Rodgers. That's probably
with
your...
having Rodgers, they are 6-1. They've got some very good receivers.
And the Cardinals.
The
Cardinals are 7-0.
They're
So
nasty.
there's some class teams. The Cowboys. Okay. So I was going to say the Bengals have entered Super Bowl talk. They're probably a step below that right now. But
they're at a point where you want to get them into the playoffs and
People
see what happens.
If the Cardinals weren't undefeated, people would be saying that about them. Like, just unproven.
If they were just they were 6-1 instead of 7-0.
It's just unproven. But good for the Bengals that they're doing that. Because if the Bengals were 2-5, would any of us be shocked right now? No. They're 5-2.
Yeah, they could have been 2-5, 3-3, and we wouldn't be saying they're having a specifically bad year.
Wouldn't flinch, Paul. Good for the Bengals. My Raiders. Where I was supposed to give you and Bobby crap for the Panthers crapping the bed, which is tough. We talked about how many close games there are. And this is where football's a crapshoot, people, and this is all we try to say on the football preview. I'm kind of stepping in pig shit with the Raiders right now. They're 5-2. And with what the Raiders with what the Chiefs are doing right now, the Raiders are kind of sitting pretty. They are 5-2. The Chargers are 4-2. They play tonight, or they had the bye. I think they had the bye. Raiders are 5-2, and again, where sports and predicting things is so dumb. Like, if you told me the Raiders are 5-2 before the season, I probably would have said, like, wow, Gruden's coaching them up. He's gone. He's gone. He's not a part of the team. So that's where predicting sports and stuff can be pretty brutal, unless you're Trevor Plouffe. Perfect in every way.
Bengals Ravens note: we've been a Lamar Jackson supporter pod. I believe this is his first October loss.
Oh wow, I think
that was the tweet going around.
Like a good fun fact. In Baltimore, Raiders are 5-2. They win at home against the Eagles. The Eagles are bad, man. I don't know how else to say it. Like.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
They lose by 11 with a 15-3 fourth quarter.
Right, and there's a lot of Eagles games this year where their fourth quarters have good, so that can either be, you could give compliments to Hurts or Sirianni or however you want to do it. Because like I said,
giving up
with that Panthers game, they do end up winning that game and coming back and doing it, so you have to give them credit for that, but like,
it's helped them.
These
I think both wins they had.
These 15 points in the fourth quarter are kind of nothing to make it look like a close game, 33-22.
To make it look like it had a chance. I think for fantasy stuff, Jalen Hurts has been awesome.
Oh, he's awesome. Every year there's a rookie QB who gets one passing touchdown a game and enough rushing yards, and they're a good fantasy quarterback.
Yeah. I was doing – we had no baseball yesterday, obviously, so I was – kind of deep in the fantasy world for first week. I've fully I sucked in, and I was
checking in.
Eye in red zone. Want to blow out?
I like that. Whoops.
Helped the guy I was playing started Sam Darnold this week. 3 points.
That's tough. Rams Lions. This was Trevor Plouffe's lock. We were telling people with DraftKings to go get your free money here. Scary for a little bit. Lions aggressive fake punt, I believe. They scored on a nice screen pass early. This is Goff God returning to L.A. If you like a good screen pass, which everyone does, go check out the DeAndre Swift screen pass from this game. Full blitz, so everyone's going this way. Boop, boop, gone.
And they broke out. They opened that game, 67-yard screen pass touchdown, onside kick recover, fake punt.
Yeah.
I think got another field goal on that, or maybe they didn't. I don't remember. But just they broke out everything. They do another fake punt later in the game.
Which, hey,
just trying anything, get a win.
Respected and love the hell out of it. I mean, part of me wishes they didn't do it against the Rams because the Rams are such a better team. Like, I love them busting out those tricks because what do you have to lose? You're 0-6 going into this game. But also, maybe use that against the Vikings and you pull out a win.
Yeah.
Like against the Rams.
Pull those out in the second half where there's not time to recover.
They did all of this. They had a lead, and the Rams come back. Stafford, 334, 3 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp, 10, 156, 2 touchdowns. He's going nuts. Cooper Kupp is my biggest fantasy regret this year. I think I took Galladay over him, and I was just like, oh,
that's
no.
Tough. I Kyle Pitts snaked from me when I was eyeing. In both drafts I did. I think I was eyeing him one or 2 picks before me, which isn't the same thing, but
damn.
I was thinking about him.
Right. Rams end up coming back, winning that game at home. They're 6-1.
I believe Lions after that first drive, they score, they pull off the onside kick to get the ball back again. That was their first offensive drive of the year with a lead. It was the red zone was talking about it.
That's tough, man.
Man.
Man, BBD, we might have to do when's mid-season? They play 17 weeks now, 18 weeks, so it'd be week 9. Because, man, I thought it was going to be easy to list some of the class teams in the NFL. But, what do you do with the Rams right now? They're 6-1. Stafford looks nasty. The defense is nasty. Everyone loves McVay. What do you do with that team? In the NFC,
you should like everything about
you've got the Cardinals, who are 7-0 and in their division. If the Rams hosted the Cardinals tomorrow in LA, I think they'd be favorites. Packers are 6-1. Bucs are 6-1. So, those are real teams. Those are very real teams.
The separation there, at least at the top end.
Cowboys?
Every year it's the same story. They're talented. See what happens,
Cowboys, Cardinals, good. Rams, Packers, Bucs in the NFC. Those are 5 real ones. I was going to say, the least real of those 5, because of quarterbacks and coaches, are the Cardinals and the Cowboys. Who the Cardinals are undefeated and 7-0. If they were a team not named the Cardinals, I think they'd probably be getting more respect. And the Cowboys, just kind of because of their recent history, you don't fully respect them as 5-1, but they're electric.
Everyone knows that the rest of the division is such garbage.
Right.
That's included them in the past.
Those are very real teams. The AFC is kind of a mess. Titans have their own flaws.
But they've been a good team for a couple years.
Right. But they're good. But, compared to those other teams, I think I'd take almost all of them over the Titans.
Nobody preseason was calling Titans Super Bowl if you didn't have, an emotional attachment, I don't think.
Ravens and Bengals, Bengals are fun and upstarty, but you can't believe in them.
The Ravens, I think some people would believe in.
Ravens are good. They just got busted up by the Bengals at home. So there's that whole conversation. The Raiders are 5-2. Nobody likes them. The Chiefs are in a funk. The Chargers are good, but they've got a couple losses that people are unsure about. And the Bills are 4-2. People really like them, but they just lost to the Titans in Tennessee. Bills, by the way, go buy a little bit of Bills stock. They had their bye week, and they have Dolphins, Jaguars, Jets, Colts, Saints if you want them. So don't be surprised.
We're not going to be surprised at all if we see them at 9-2 very soon.
Yeah,
and they can be good teams.
It's a good time to buy some Bills stock, is what I'd say. Although a lot of it's already been purchased. I was late on the Bills stock already. But I think, their odds to win the NFC East are probably minus 180 or something. BBD will get you an actual number. I think in 4 weeks it's going to be minus 600. Some gambling numbers.
Yeah, Patriots are, I think, better than the record shows, but
Patriots are there, but
what it is.
We're rooting for them to get to 500.
Yeah, they're not 500.
Bills in a couple weeks.
Bills were the favorites coming in and are ahead by.
They're going to be 8-3 worst case. We'll get those numbers for you. Cardinals go to 7-0. They beat the Texans, the lowly Texans, 31-5.
Oh my God. Yeah, Bills already minus 2,000 to win the AFC East.
Minus 2,000?
Minus 2,000.
Whoa.
They're 4-2 right now. I would pretty confidently pick them, but
put a little on the Pats.
Just want to put $5 on the Pats and just see what happens.
Just pray. Jesus, minus 2,000? I guess that's kind of what I was just telling you guys.
Dolphins have better odds.
Vegas is smarter than me. Cardinals 31-5. They dominate. The spread in this game was 20 points, I believe. That's some college football BS. Texans suck ass and are missing their star quarterback. Cardinals are on a warpath, and Kyler Murray might win the MVP. So, Zach Ertz with a touchdown. That could be impactful as this goes on. The big game next week, baby. Packers, Cardinals. That's going to be a lot of fun. Excited for that. Bucs, Bears, 38-3.
Yep.
Yeah. Rookie quarterback, Tom Brady, 4 touchdowns, 211 yards. That's like a video game stat line.
The defense was...
They're nasty, man.
It looked like they were facing a rookie quarterback of a bad team.
They're nasty.
I like Fields, but...
Bears were hot in the street for a second. They are not hot in the street anymore. And hey, BBD, people want to come at you for a Panthers take that you just hopped on Bobby's bandwagon. We got so much crap for our football picks and just the worst comments on the internet. And that happens whenever you do anything.
People don't really comment when they like a pick, so.
None of us had the 49ers, and we all walked away and we were like, they could be good, right? The 49ers lose at home to the Colts, who, by the way,
I think people like, but
are revitalizing their season. They were 0-3. They've now won 3 of their last 4 games. Wentz looks more human at quarterback. Frank Reich is respected. They win at San Francisco. Rainy game. Hilarious rain. Good for Carson Wentz. Good for the Colts. They're 3-4. They've saved their season. We'll see if it means anything. I don't know if it does. The San Francisco 49ers are 2-4. And by the way,
1-3 at home.
The whole reason that none of us liked the 49ers was because we all liked the Rams. I drank the Russell Wilson Kool-Aid. I think you and Bobby might have too.
I think I did too.
'Cause
just
why
Russell
wouldn't
Wilson
you?
has the benefit of the doubt.
His best is pretty good. I don't know if any of us had the Cardinals, who they're the team of this NFL season. So now look at the standings. The 49ers are 2-4. Jimmy G ain't looking like it. And guess what? The Niners knew that because they drafted a quarterback with their top pick. A guy that's supposed to be a project and a guy that's hurt for the next week or two.
Yeah.
So even if
they made the switch and immediately now.
Even if you super believe in him, he's still a rookie quarterback.
I think even if you believed in him, he wasn't supposed to help this year.
No, and what's he supposed to jump into? I mean, they are 2-4. The Cardinals are 7-0. The Rams are 6-1. So, for everyone that jumped down our throat for no Niners, dude, what are you doing? I don't know. You might have to apologize for that one. Because it's not looking good in San Francisco. Jimmy G still hot. Almost a little too tan. That's my hot take there. From one Italian to another. That's the football. Really went into it. They're playing tonight, Seahawks Saints. Ugh. In Seattle, Geno Smith show continues. Saints are 4-point favorites in Seattle. That kind of shows where the Seahawks are at. I mean, that's tough. I don't know. I guess I'll end up watching that game, but I don't know why. Kamara, Metcalf, they're fun. We'll see if Jameis can get it going a little more. And it's sports, so that's probably why we watch. Anything else there, Beavers?
I think we're there.
All right, let's start wrapping it up, Bakers. Thank you guys always for tuning in. We're at 447 subs.
Let's get the 4 or 5 today.
Let's go, people. Sub, share with a friend, let them know. We tried to do another happy hour last week for our schedule, and we kind of threw you guys off. Sandino the Great, my guy, he said, what is you doing, baby? You keep switching up the schedule on me. That's on me. We made a move, and sometimes you got to eat it.
In hindsight, doing it kind of right before games and stuff. Last time it worked because nothing changed.
Last time it made more sense.
So it's just still there early.
Hey, let's eat it. I'll eat it. We were tired. We were feeling fatigued. We made a play, and it wasn't the right one. And that's on me. So thank you guys. You guys are the best. Like, subscribe. We did have a perfect game on the likes. Whoops. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Tell a friend to subscribe. You guys are the best. 447 subs. Let's get to 5, babe. Let's get to 5. Bake the algorithm. That's what we say here. The bakers. Comment. I already told you guys. What did I tell them to comment for? Oh, who's going to win the World Series? Let's do a bro of the night. I'm going to give mine to Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow, like I said, I think he's about to start getting a lot of love. I think he's probably, if you turned on ESPN right now, you'd hear Joe Burrow and people giving out hot takes about, is he a top 5 quarterback, that kind of stuff.
Probably a lot of, like, if you're starting a team today.
Right, where does Joe Burrow land? Jamar Chase.
Oh, I'm still so young.
Jamar Chase is gross. We kind of started, I think his first 3 games he had a touchdown. Our sniff test started going off that, like, okay, if he has another one, like he's in, he's there, he's real.
Yeah, and I think the next game we didn't have a touchdown, but went for over 100 or something.
He, with his 200-yard performance, I believe through 7 games, he has the most yards by a rookie receiver ever.
Yeah, in their first 7.
Ever. I know football, obviously there's more passing these days, so we see a lot of this, blah, blah, blah. Point is, he's really good. He's really good. He gets open.
I know somehow at one point a couple weeks ago, Tony had more yards than him, and he's been out. So he can catch him if he comes back with a good 3 weeks and through 7.
Jamar Chase's touchdown, if you haven't seen it, it is worth looking up. Slant, catches it.
It's one of the ones you should go watch a few times.
Breaks 1.5 tackles and then just leaves the defense in his rear view. He's awesome, man. And hey, we're telling the Joe Burrow LSU story. Jamar Chase was there, right?
Yeah.
So, as we put the whole picture together with LSU having a tough year, Orgeron out, players win games. I do think their offensive coordinator, they loved Orgeron, and I think their offensive coordinator is really well respected now. I think he's with the Panthers. Is that Joe Brady? Did I dream that? It's looking like a lot of Burrow and Jamar Chase was important. Really important to that. Man, I hope I hope we get to look back in 5-10 years and be like, that was pretty awesome that they're college teammates, that they're pro teammates, that they're
underrated.
He's gross, man. He's gross.
I feel like it's just not talked about enough that Joe Burrow's like from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It's like
really cool.
That's like the coolest part of all of it.
Yeah, like he's in. Like there's a lot of quarterbacks that if they were doing this, it would almost be like, what's their next move? Like if you're Joe Burrow, you just throw on the king's crown and let it ride.
Yeah, might not be the king of this place for a while.
Why not? So I guess it's almost a tag team, but I think Burrow's about to get a lot of love.
So
I'll give a little more to Jamar. I'll give a little bit to Jamar. Who do you want?
Probably going to get Rookie of the Year, but I'm also giving out kind of a tandem thing. One that's like a real one. Melo just became like the 9th all-time scorer, so that's cool.
Which Melo?
Carmelo Anthony. It's only one.
Like that.
And I love him.
Yeah.
So permanent soft spot. And then a little bit myself, but also DeAndre Swift. I took big swings on him in both of my fantasy leagues, and it is paying off because the Lions really don't have other good players,
right?
For fantasy purposes, and they're just like kind of go-to play when they need something to screen passes to him. So it's been pretty awesome, and I'm really happy that I think at the time people would have called it a reach.
Wow,
I didn't discuss it earlier, but
how about that? BBD flexing on him with DeAndre Swift. I wonder if, because the NFL trade deadline doesn't really work like a real thing, but I wonder if they got actual trade offers for him, do teams listen? Because running backs never hold value.
Yeah.
So if someone traded a...
and if he's, for lack of nicer phrasing, if he's nothing in 3 years.
Right, like if I wonder if the Lions got offered a 4th, 3rd round pick for DeAndre Swift.
Yeah. Get a 3 and a...
NFL teams love
get
picks.
Get a 3 and 2 5s for some, but for
NFL
him.
teams love picks. Fayal, in the chat, my guy, I should have mentioned it in the baseball. I mentioned the Gardy Cole thing quick. The Cards manager announcement. Interesting. Sometimes me and Jimmy don't always pick up the same sense. We were both, and all the rumors and everything seemed like something was a little bit off. And I think when they announced their manager, Marmol?
Yeah, Oliver Marmol.
Oliver Marmol, who is the bench coach. That's kind of what this smelled like from the start.
You knew whatever the replace was going to be, they had someone in mind.
Like the Cardinals had it in their mind, and
they didn't get rid of any other coaches.
Yeah, every other sentence just seemed like there was almost a mutiny. And we just found out why. Like the team was responding to Marmol that he basically became the manager. So who knows what actually went down and what actually happened. Who knows if we'll ever get the real story on it. But it's pretty clear when the bench coach gets the head coaching job and the only guy out is the head coach, the players turn to Marmol. So I don't know. Do what you want with that. I know it probably sucks for Cardinals fans that we really don't have time to talk about this during
while the playoffs are happening.
During the World Series. But hey, it's going to be a long off season for talking baseball. We'll get to talk about all of it. Thanks for bringing it up, Fal, because you're right. Deserves to get mentioned here.
And for the most part, I think all the other manager spots are still open, so there's going to be some manager talk in those first few weeks after
yeah.
Stuff. We're going to have I would assume one of those first episodes after the season is going to be a full just coaching catch-up.
Coaching carousel. It's my favorite part of doing NCAA football dynasties. All right, people, we got to wrap it up. Full ep today.
Just found stat about Marvel. It's from NJ.com.
Okay.
Doesn't look like our guy Cuddy wrote it, so he's our only friend there.
Damn.
So I don't shout out other people, but I don't care. He was drafted 2 spots ahead of Rizzo in 2007.
Wow. There's your baseball carousel.
35 years old. Really young.
Yeah.
For manager.
The young coach. Wayno and Yachty older than him.
I would assume both.
How about that?
The pitchers they brought at the deadline that are now free agents, I guess, but
it's funny.
Lester's older, Hap's
Bring
older.
back Hap. Thank you, everybody. If you never checked out our gaming tournament, it wrapped up the other day. Go check it out. Even if you haven't been in the gaming world, it's me, Jimmy, Jolly, Joe's, Chris McFly, Zach. It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Bingeable content.
Hate to hype myself. My games are the wildest. I would go watch those. The me and Chris McFly game, the Jolly Out. Everything else on the John Boy Media Network. Playing, gaming, talking Nets, talking Giants, talking baseball. Full preview tomorrow.
We're recording a talking
Chris
Nets
Rose
tonight.
is going to be here. TK tonight.
New Rose, I think, tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Join us for the World Series. We're going to be having a lot of fun. Love you guys. Bake it.